We're getting ready for tonight's MVC TV network broadcast of the UIC Flames at the Drake Bulldogs, a 6 p.m. tip-off from Des Moines. Joining Laura Leonard and myself is Drake head coach Allison Pohlman. Allison, let's start with your Bulldogs non-conference schedule. 6-5 at the end of it all. 3 losses were just single digits, and you've won 4 straight. What have you found out about your team here in the non-conference?
Well, the great thing about it is the non-conference, the purpose of it is really to prepare you for a very talented, amazing Missouri Valley Conference field. And so I think what we've been able to learn about ourselves are, just different ways that different people have played us, different ways that, where you try to take different things away, what people have done offensively, defensively. And so, it's a learning curve. It definitely is. And you have kind of the peaks and the valleys, and we've just tried to maintain our level as much as possible of, of consistency and really discipline is what we've really tried to focus on.
Throughout about the middle part of the non-conference season, you had a little bit of a losing streak in there, and you switched things around with your lineup. So what have you learned since making those changes into your starting lineup? How has the team progressed?
Yeah, well, a year ago we had Courtney Becker really, kind of focused on being the 3, and so we were able to take a little bit of advantage, I think, of really a couple mismatches here and there. And so being able to adjust the lineup to be able to put Courtney Becker kind of back in that place. And then also, changing of Abby Alsma and Ava Hawthorne has kind of been one of those situations which has been, I think fantastic, where you've got Abby was really giving us a huge punch right off the bench when she was coming off the bench for us in the first few games. Ava Hawthorne has now, done that for us, has just been a huge punch off the bench. And so, I don't know whether you call that genius coaching or, whatever happens, or we just need to draw names out of a hat. But I think, what's the ultimate about, like, whether it's a starting lineup or whether it's somebody that's adding to your team, what you want is just really positive contributions. And I think we've seen that really out of both Ava and Abby, and plugging Shannon Fornshell in there, we've had some great output from her regard too. So I think it'd just be great if all 13 of them play fantastically. We could start them all, but unfortunately you only get to start 5.
Yeah, that's every coach hopes for that, to have every player just be that starter off the bench and come in and play. And, let's talk about one of your starters who has had a fantastic start to the season. And Katie Denneberry, can't go without talking about Katie and what she's done so far this season. So talk a little bit about her game and how it's progressed over the course of her career. And then I know you mentioned a couple of players, but maybe anybody else that's impressed you in the non-conference.
Yeah, great question. And Katie, just the best thing about it is we've watched Katie's game continue to evolve. And I think what she does for our team, and really anytime she steps on the floor, is, she navigates and figures out a way to make everybody around her better. And so if it's a given game where we need her to be our lockdown defender, she is that. If it's a game where we need her to score 40, she does it, or she navigates and sets people up. And so I think what's been great is, Katie figures out a way to really showcase, I guess, the talents of her supporting cast. And I think, what's been fantastic is watching her do that, really with a smile on her face and that competitive edge, because we all know that she definitely has that. And so I'm looking forward to continuing to watch her have, just fun playing basketball, because it's always written all over her face. As far as, other players, I think, we talked about a couple of them already, but, it'd be remiss not to talk about Anna Miller. I think she's had a phenomenal, non-conference, you talk about peaks and valleys, and, one of the things that she's been able to do is to kind of slow the game down, I think, to then be able to read and to navigate and to understand that she doesn't have to do everything at 65 miles an hour, that if she does, take the foot off the gas just a little bit, she has the experience to lean into to then fully understand what defenses are giving her, because I do think she is a highlight of what, of how teams prepare for Drake. There's a few people you're talking about. One is definitely Anna Miller.
Coach, you come back from Christmas break and you got the start of Valley play. You've got the calendar turns to 2025. How do you use kind of that new year, that fresh start as a motivator for the kids?
Yeah, Well, I think the best part about it is fully understanding like the Missouri Valley Conference, and everybody's so excited because there's a familiarity, but also like an enormous amount of respect, for every single team. You're going to step on the floor. You're going to get a lot of grit. You're going to get a lot of toughness. You're going to get great, great coaching because that's what's in the Valley. You have so many teams who are really, really familiar with what a lot of people do. And so I think what it does is it really adds to our learning curve. Not only did we learn things in the non-conference, now we get to, forcefully jump into conference and really learn more and more about ourselves because, we're not to March yet. I love the fact that you said where we are, but we've got to take this one moment at a time. And I think that you just got to love on the game. You got to love playing and really being afforded to play in the Valley, I think is just a phenomenal, phenomenal blessing. And I'm excited for our league.
Well, Coach, I'm excited. We're going to learn a lot about the Flames and the Bulldogs. It's all coming up 6 p.m. here on Thursday, January 2nd, UIC at Drake. You can catch that game on the MVC TV network.